Okay, retail. This stage is about where and how we choose to sell our clothes. So lots and lots of issues with this one. If you choose to sell them in a Chadstone, we said in a giant shopping centre. Remember, shopping centres were part of the Great Acceleration, the American ideal of big shopping centres, nice house in a nice suburb, and to get from your house to the big shopping centre, you get in your nice car and you drive there, park in the car park for free, and you shop there. Is that a model appropriate in a world where cities are getting more and more crowded, where driving your car is becoming more difficult, where resources to actually run these giant shopping centres like Chadstone are becoming more prohibitive or more expensive anyway, at the least. So, should we retail in a Westfield type shopping centre like Chadstone, or should we start to do something really unique and retail in markets? Queen Victoria Market, there's no Country Road there. Why not? Why can't Country Road have a stall at the Queen Vic Market or any other open air market? Why does it have to be in these traditional retail um, models? And we looked at the environmental consequences of the oldest market. We looked at Istanbul, and then we looked at one in the UK to compare the differences, the pros and cons to each one. We looked at even the paper. Remember, you've got to use a significant amount of paper in terms of printing out catalogues, or if everything's online, there's a significant amount of electricity and water used when it comes to creating a website and maintaining a website. Then we looked at the local and inner suburban situation. So, should we put a shopping centre out there in the suburbs, as I said, part of the Great Acceleration, or should we have boutique stores? So that means, imagine if it was a Kmart, how would you make it Kmart a boutique store? And what product range would you put in a sort of boutique Kmart store? And putting it in a scenario like a Chapel Street or something like that. Or do we go the other way? If you recall, and we said let's just go online. Let's not have retail stores. It's certainly a growing trend, and perhaps even have drone deliveries. So customers, the age of customers walking into store and touching clothes is finished, to be replaced with buying everything through a computer and waiting for delivery of that product. Whole range of different ways in which we can retail clothes, and always remembering the social and environmental consequences to both, to both, to both ways of retailing. So to pass, identify any of the theories that may be applicable to this problem. So driving a car requires a road requires land, is part of land system change, which means if it's a road, it's no longer a forest, which had all those animals. Those animals then had to leave and go somewhere else. So we get a diminution of biodiversity as a result of that. Credit, give us examples of the pros and cons of retailing from our lecture notes, such as I've given you here. Distinction, find your own examples of retailing stores around the world that are perhaps doing things differently. So Marks and Spencer was one we did in the tutorials, but see if you can find other retail stores that may be doing it slightly different. Certainly Sweden's interesting as a country because they've got a different approach to doing things. They might have something there that you can look at. So your high distinction comes from how well you can explain the theories, the problem, and then how well you articulate a solution. As I said, if we give you Kmart and your solution is to Kmart should open a range of boutique stores, then how well you detail what should be in that boutique store. Remember, you've got limited space, you can't have the full Kmart range. What would you put in there? And the better you answer that, the better the evidence that you're thinking clearly on some of the limitations with retail.